How's it going, guys? Let's go over today's price action. Today is March 2nd, 2023. We're going to go over the intraday order flow as well as the daily plan. So what we're looking at here is a footprint chart. Footprint charts are highly customizable. If you're unfamiliar with what you are looking at, go to the homepage of my channel and I have a video explaining how I have my charts configured. What we're looking at here is transacted volume. So as for the daily plan, this was my first sell zone, second sell zone, first buy zone, second buy zone. Now, as you can see, we have not interacted with any of them. I did take 4 trades today, one normal trade, and then the other 3 after I padded my wallet with the first one. I've had a really good week, so I'm just looking to minimize my risk exposure. I sized down like a lot. Basically just enough to be able to practice tape. We will go over all of those trades, but let's talk about today. Right, look at this range. It is, almost 2 hours into the cash session open, and we have a range of like 25 points maybe. Super low volatility today, right? So when we look here, we see the makings of a balanced day. And if you guys are longer term viewers, you will know that where is it? Balance days not near inflection points are days that I usually do not trade. So hence why I wasn't super aggressive today or anything. Just playing it safe and playing the tape, right? For those who don't know what we're looking at, this is the TPO chart, also called market profile chart, and TPO stands for time price opportunity. So what we see here is the makings of a D-shaped profile or bell-shaped curve, either or. What that means is price in this range, in this session, is balanced. We are happy to trade here. Now, what do we use TPO charts for? They help us visualize the market auction. They make it more palatable, I think. Many others think that's why professional traders at firms, hedge funds, whatever, all use this. They use transacted volume and TPO charts. Of course, mathematical models and all that fun stuff as well. But this is what those models, or some of what those models are calculated off of. Transacted volume, market auction theory, and all that fun stuff. So I know it looks intimidating, but it's super simple to learn. Like very simple. And then once you do learn that, you just simply take a glance at it and you know exactly what you're looking for. So that's always part 1 of my daily plan. From there, I come over here to what we were looking at before, the 4-hour footprint chart. I think it's the best time frame to get market generated information if you are a day trader, right? I am a day trader. I rarely do swing contracts. I forgot. So I did take a trade yesterday. I posted it on the community tab, as well as on StockTwits. I did hold, a very little bit for a swing, and it was stopped out at break even overnight. Not a problem. If you are interested to see that trade, we reviewed it in yesterday's recap. So I come over here on the 4-hour footprint, and I want to see, where do we have an offer? Where do we have a bid? Is either side passive? Is either side aggressive? Is either side moving up or down on the tape? Do we have a trapped bid, trapped offers? Do we have gaps in volume? Maybe we skipped over participants, we trapped participants. All that fun stuff can be taken from the 4-hour footprint. And from here, lastly, for my daily plans, I come over to the daily footprint. And here I do the exact same thing. Aggressive bid, aggressive offer, offer moving down on a tape, bid unable to hold, moving down on the tape. Do we see exhaustion at highs, at lows, all that fun stuff. I also forgot to touch on, if you guys are newer to TPO charts, what we look at for here, highs of profiles, lows of profiles, the shapes of profiles, value area highs, over here, value area highs, value area lows, points of control, not to be confused with volume point of control, right? Time price opportunity charts have to do with time, so the point of control is the place in the session where we spent the most time rather than the most volume, as can be seen here with the volume point of control, with the volume by price beside the profile. So using all this information, I then have my daily plan as we looked at already. So let's bring up, there we are. All right, so I go through the TPO chart, I go through these time frames that we looked at already, and I annotate them. I'll send in the daily plan tab in the Discord, make sure everyone has an understanding of what is going on in the auction. And here we have the daily plan. So I took, as I said, 3 trades. One of them was right out the gate, out the open, just looking for 2R. So entered 2R, risking 3 points, take it off at 6 points, done. So again, as I said, that was kind of a wallet patter. And then I flipped over to a much smaller size. I mean, I actually flipped over to micros here. And again, I was just practicing tape reading. So I took a stop out over here, entered again. This came 5 points in the money, and if you guys are longer term viewers, you'll know that it's a rule of mine, 4.5, 5 points in the money, my stop goes to break even. So I stopped out at break even and re-entered immediately as I saw that an aggressive seller was still active up here. Re-enter, half off at 2R, half off at 3R, half off at 4R, and then my last tiny bit was stopped out at break even. So let's take a look at the intraday order flow and kind of see what I was looking at to take those trades. Now, 1 second. Alright, so this is a 30-minute chart, and I took a long from the bottom, right? What do we see at the bottom? Was it the bottom, right? I think it was 32 was my entry, somewhere over here, right? A little bit lower. So what do we see down here? Exhaustion, right? You could say, CLT, this is an exhaustion. We're still transacting at the lows. We are technically still transacting at the lows. We don't see a zero print as we see here, but it's relative. So you have to look up, 13,500 contracts, 12.3, 17.3, 17.4, relative to the size that's being thrown around over here. This is exhaustion, double buying imbalance. And I went long. I'm not only using the 30-minute tape here, I'm using the 5-minute and looking for specific things on the footprint charts to engage a trade. So I took the long there. Again, I went all off at 6 points, and then I flipped to micros. Now, with the footprint now, it's not as clean as it was in real time. So I think for this, I'll actually bring up my 5-minute. 1 second, let me get rid of my pen. All right, do I have my executions turned on the 5-minute? Yes, I do. Okay. See, all right. So this was that first stop out. We had active sellers here. This tape's a little bit more nuanced for my entry here, but again, I was stopped out here. I'm fine with this read. I did have a good read, but tape stalled a little bit. A few other things in there, but I did take the stop out. This was the trade that I entered, went 5 points in the money, came back, and I stopped at break even. Here's my re-entry. And then here was the half off 2R, 3R, 4R, and stopped rest break even. So I won't dissect this tape. It's a little bit more complicated for newer viewers or newer people to footprint, I think. But nonetheless, I'll leave this here for a second if someone wants to screenshot this or pause and kind of try and dissect it themselves. I do recommend you do that. Replay the tape, right? We had a webinar in the room, what was it, 2 days ago, I think, where I started replaying tape and we were looking at the delta. This is the delta. I have it on pretty much all my time frames. And this allows us to gauge whether sellers are defending their position and adding to it, or maybe buyers are overwhelming and stuff like that. So we reviewed that. And now for our next webinar, I'm jotting down all the timestamps of my entries, stop outs, scratch trades, everything, winning trades. And I'm going to replay the tape in a long webinar so we could watch it live and I could dissect exactly what I'm seeing and why I'm entering here, all that fun stuff, right? So yeah, if you guys want to dissect this for yourselves, I mean, just watching the YouTube videos, you could get a pretty good read. Zero print over here, selling imbalance. We do see exhaustion up here with the selling imbalance. More the simpler things that we've went over plenty of times in the YouTube videos. So those were the trades that I took. I wasn't the only person to take trades today. We had one of the members in the room. He's been around for a long time. Took 3 trades, took 3 wins, and his, I believe, were all to the long side. Mine, of course, I had 1 long trade and 3 short. So either way, as long as you have a good reading of the market and the context, the live order flow, you have a good read of the tape, you're good, right? You have to have a system in place, risk management, and all that stuff. We do have webinars dedicated to that stuff because trading isn't just about your tools. If you are someone who is profitable already and just wants to compare your reading to mine, you could just get the full daily plan. I'll leave a link to the website in the description, and here you'll get access to just the daily plan tab in the Discord server, and you can see those annotated TPO and footprint charts for yourself and compare that to your reading, of course. Now, I do have that Discord group. It's a very, very small group. People who want to learn my approach see the edge in it. I teach my entry criteria. I have a bread and butter setup, and then there's tape plays. Tapes are a little bit more nuanced, they're more difficult, but I teach all of that. We have an introductory series to all of the tools, market auction theory, TPO, footprint, psychology webinars, all that fun stuff, right? So here's a little bit of that. Again, I'll leave a link in the description. If not, I will see you in the next recap. Later, guys.